Hello, and welcome to our presentation on keeping great employees. I'm your presenter, Ann Rollins, and I'm coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida. Before we get started, I have great news for those of you viewing this session. Near the end of the presentation, I'll have a giveaway for each and every one of you, so please stay tuned. Before we get going, I thought you might like to know a little bit about me. I've been in human resources for over 20 years, with a specialty in small business, working directly for business owners like yourself. I'm certified as a senior professional in human resources by the HR Certification Institute, which is the gold standard in my profession. It requires an extensive examination and continuing education to maintain my accreditation. I have worked for over a year in the boutique pet retail industry as a mild-mannered sales associate. It's been interesting to observe companies through an HR lens without being the HR person. I feel a little bit like HR undercover and hope today's presentation will help you see employee issues in a different light. I'm mom to 2 rescue dogs, that American Foxhound mix Jackson, and that cute little ginger Madison. I'm also wife to that handsome guy there. His name is Ray. For those of you who came from the corporate world, you may have a pretty bad view of human resources. So let me just say that I look at my role in human resources as a specialist advisor, much like your banker, your accountant, or your insurance agent. It is not my place to be an impediment to your goals. Employee retention is just one of many competing issues when you have a business to run. I hope my presentation will help you a little bit on that front. So let's jump in. My hope for you today is to walk away with a few practical tools. By the end of our time together, you should have a better understanding of who you're competing with for talent. You'll have methods to identify what motivates employees and amp them up in the workplace, and walk away with some low and no-cost ways to improve employee retention. I've spent over a year in the boutique pet retail industry, serving as a sales associate. What I've observed is this: when an employee is not doing what the employer wants them to do, nobody ever addresses it directly with the employee. Instead, they make the work environment more unpleasant for the employee, cutting hours, cutting off all communication, or expressing their frustration to other employees, all with the hope that the troublesome worker just quits. You cannot afford that in today's environment. And when I mean afford, I mean it literally. According to the Society of Human Resources Management, every employee departure costs your company 1/3 of the employee's annual earnings. This comes in the form of lost productivity, increased overtime for vacant shifts, additional departures due to increased schedule demands, and increased demands on your time at the expense of more important issues. While the unemployment rate is high due to COVID, many people are hesitant to take frontline jobs, especially ones that don't pay a premium. Others are quitting jobs where they do not feel that their employer is keeping a safe environment for them. And still others are quitting to care for school-aged children. So finding a suitable replacement who will stay with you long-term continues to be difficult. So who are you competing with for talent? The answer is any employer that pays the same or more than you pay your employees for the same level of experience. This can be other independent retailers, national retailers, restaurants or fast food places, manufacturing environment, warehouses, customer service, or contact centers. It's important that you know what distinguishes you from your competition. I'm kidding here when I put a picture of a cute dog and cat, since many people come into the job thinking they're going to get to play with animals all day. But being in an environment where people share a common love of pets is a big plus. So, what is your unique value proposition? You may have heard this term used when establishing your business in terms of how to solve your customers' needs and what distinguishes you from your competition. This same term can be used to define how you solve employee needs and what distinguishes you from your competition for talent, otherwise known as your employment brand strategy. So, what kind of employer do you want to be? A unique employer brand strategy should make clear your company values and ideals, should provide clear reasons why candidates should choose to work for you and then stay, conveys what employees can expect from you, is expected of them in return. To compete, it's critical that you offer a competitive wage. If you can, consider financial incentives, such as bonuses tied to performance measurements. This can be something as simple as sales or how many email addresses an employee collects in a given period. And one word about appropriate pay increases. Not every employee has the same value, even with time. So pay should reflect each individual's contribution to the company. Those who contribute more should be paid more. So how do you know if your pay is competitive? You can reach out to your local chamber of commerce, small business association, or trade associations for that information. If you're someone at the time, you can review online job postings or call your competitors and ask them the starting pay for employees. If your pay is not competitive, you must find creative ways to incentivize people to come to work for you and stay. So you've been lucky and found yourself some great employees. So you might ask yourself, what do they want or value anyway in the workplace? A great starting point would be just to ask them. Have you asked your employees what benefits they value? Have you asked them what they like or don't like in the workplace? Or have you asked them what would make them happier on the job? Now, if you just squirmed in your seat a little because you don't talk to your employees, finding answers may be difficult to determine without some warming up. But it's never too late to start and start communicating more. But a word of warning. When you solicit employee input, you must be prepared to act, even if that action is just to explain why something cannot be changed. If you take no action, you'll find that the next time you seek employee feedback, they might not be as forthcoming. You just might find that what your employees want or need is cheap, simple, or free, and only requires a little extra effort from you once or once in a while. So let's start with small investments. You can offer things like standard benefits, but only those you can afford. This can be things like paid days off, supplemental insurance like Aflac, which costs the employer nothing more than the cost of setting up payroll deductions with your payroll company. You might consider paid flu shots and paying for the employee's time to go get them. You could also offer a deeply discounted merchandise or services. I recommend offering more than 10 or 20% because employee take home pay is low. We all know everybody loves food. So you may want to surprise your employees with cookies, donuts, fruit, coffee, or other simple snacks. You may want to offer a free lunch in the form of a gift card or maybe a catered lunch. But if you make this a weekly or monthly thing, employees will come to expect it. They will take it for granted, and then the benefit is lost. Everybody loves a present. So consider something like a recognition gift or gift card, or a just because gift. In COVID times, it means a lot to employees to know that you are ensuring a safe work environment for them. With increased sanitation, mask requirements, and social distancing requirements, such as barriers or reduced in-store capacity. When eligible for the vaccine, you may want to consider paying employees for their time off to go get it. Now let's talk about freebies that can help you keep great employees. We addressed one method of engagement already, which is simply asking your employees how they feel and what would make them happier. You should also communicate more regularly with individuals and with the team about what's going on in the organization. And you should welcome, appreciate, and implement, when feasible, any suggestions for improvement. Why more involvement? It's a simple equation if you put yourself in your employees' shoes. The more you involve them, the more personally invested they are in your business. This leads to the satisfaction that comes from knowing that they are an active participant in your organization's success. This causes them to stay with you on your company's journey. To start, you must assess where you are today with employee communication. Self-reflection is never easy, but you need to ask yourself, how often do I have meaningful interaction with employees beyond greetings and small talk? How might I be perceived by employees? Do I look like the guy in the picture here? Bossy, stressed, too busy with other things, disinterested, or annoyed? So how can you tell where you stand? Do employees seem comfortable asking questions? Do they seem confident making suggestions they feel will improve your business? Or do employees only talk to you when they need something for themselves? Or did employees used to talk openly and now they don't? Everyone wants to know they are appreciated. Which brings us to our second freebie, which is recognition. Do you have a calendar, either electronic or paper? Make sure to mark down and acknowledge every work anniversary and every birthday. And here's a hint. If you don't know all of your employees' birthdays, you can find that information on the Form I-9 that you're required to keep. Next, publicly, loudly, and proudly recognize employees for things done well, a great attitude, or extra effort, even if the outcome isn't stellar. There's a bonus here. Other employees learn from what you recognize and value, and likely emulate those behaviors. And while you want to treat everyone equitably and fairly, it's important that you recognize employees as individuals and ask about their individual needs, such as needing certain days off, pursuing career interests while on the job, or identifying preferred work responsibilities. Then there's the best freebie ever, appreciation. And that comes in the power of two words, Thank you. Never forget, in good economies and bad, employees choose to work for you. They choose to come to work every day for you. And that's something to be grateful for. We're nearing the end of our presentation, so I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to view my full-length session on never having difficult employee conversations again, which has been recorded. I'd also invite you to visit my Pet Expo company profile, where you can find handouts of my presentations, as well as a simple form for documenting performance issues. Now for your promised gift. I'm giving away a free 30-minute HR consultation to anyone who emails me referencing Global Pet Expo 2021. I also welcome you to reach out to me via email or through my company profile with any questions, suggestions for future presentations, or feedback. Thank you for participating, and I sincerely hope I helped you in some way. Enjoy the rest of your conference.